Thanks for the support as a channel member, Dylan Holiday. Bonus Saturday episode of Bourne Again. Mainly because we missed a day in midweek and I thought, I owe you an episode. Plus, it means we can do an end of season double header on Saturday and Sunday. I mean, it only becomes an end of season double header if we win all the games and win the league. But we've got the final 4 games, 2 today, 2 tomorrow. Fingers crossed at the end of it all, we've gone up as champions. Otherwise, we might have the playoffs on Monday. And we all know how the playoffs work in this series. So nobody wants to see that. Hello and welcome to part 45 of Bourne Again. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 league games for you. We're at home against Sutton and away against South Shields. Since you were last with me, our form has been pretty good, apart from this one blot on the copybook, which was an away game against Leyton Orient, who are also in the promotion hunt with us. If we'd have won that game, at this point, we would be top of the league. Boston, still top with a game in hand, are going to take some beating. That is for sure. But we're only 1 point behind them, as are, Port Vale are level on points with them. And then Dulwich Hamlet, Aldershot will all feel like there's still a chance they could win the league. Maybe even Orient and Morecambe might be living in a fantasy world that they can win the league too. But the top 7 is kind of taking shape. A bit of a gap between Morecambe and Solihull Moors now. So it's really going to be a case of, are we going to win the league? We've got to win all 4 games and hope for the best if that's to happen. And if we don't, are we going to at least be able to get a favourable playoff situation out of all this? And we will cross everything to try and make sure we at the very least finish in the top 3. So we only have to play 2 playoff games to go up with probably Boston. It'd be lovely for Lincolnshire if Boston and Bourne get promoted to the Football League at the same time. There's not enough Football League clubs in Lincolnshire. So this is the team that's going out there for the game against Sutton today. You can see we're going out there attacking from the word go. We've done that on quite a lot of these games on this run. And there's been a couple where we haven't. Notably, the Leyton Orient game we didn't attack and we lost. So I am wondering if perhaps we just need to attack and go up true Kev style. But I don't know if I'm brave enough to do it in like a playoff final. We'll have to see. But this is the team. We've got Anang in goal because we all love him. He's on the transfer list. But, I still play him because we all love him. A back four of Mark Sheffield, Bedwell, Dorset and Jones, Bradshaw, Broadbent, Robinson and Sati in midfield, and then Quinn and Bond up front. Let's get into the game. Let's cross those fingers. Let's hope that the good run of form that I experienced sat here last night playing the game whilst recording my podcast and only half focusing on the Football Manager. Let's hope that that form continues this morning. We can secure a playoff spot today. That would be lovely because we all know that if you are in a good run of form, the worst thing you can do is close the game because you lose your magic form token and it's a new roll of the random number generator that decides what form you're in. I know that's not how the game works, but I have to tell myself that kind of stuff because otherwise I'd have to take some responsibility for when we bottle things, and I don't want to do that. When it goes wrong, it's because of bad luck. When it goes well, it's because I'm a genius. I thought we'd given away a penalty there, but in actual fact, Robinson's done fantastically to intercept, find Anang. It was a little bit risky because it was from quite far out, and usually Anang just gets out the way when the ball comes at him from quite far out. But we got away with it. Broadbent winning the ball back well there in midfield, finds Quinn in a very wide position, who then really poorly controls it, struggles to keep it in, but then delivers a wonder cross from miles away, which Sati's headed into the back of the net. 8th goal of the season for Sati. 5 minutes on the clock. It's Bourne 1, Sutton 0. We need to adjust this so we can see the top of this league table properly, but as it says just there, once it refreshes, as of right now, we will be top of the league again, which is always a nice thing to see. It's a lovely header from Sati as well. So, as it stands, top of the league. Boston are playing... I can't see who Boston are playing. Boston are at home to South Shields, who we play next. And Port Vale, who are the other team, right up in the mix. We'll have a look to see who they're playing in a second. We'll just open that back out so we can get that arranged properly for these final few games. Big ball forward from from Sutton. Port Vale are the team we're going to have a look at. And this time, that winger on that left-hand side has won a penalty. I thought he was going to do it earlier on. This time he actually has. Port Vale have gone ahead in their games. They've gone above us anyway, even before this penalty goes in. Come on, Anang. No. Today's not going to be the day that he makes himself a hero. So that drops us back down below Boston as well. We'll check in with Port Vale. It's it becomes a lot harder to do if Port Vale keep on winning. So they're playing. We can't see who they're playing because we've got another highlight now, and it's us with the highlight. Bedwell to take a free kick just inside their half. Finds Quinn in loads of space. Quinn probably should be shooting a cross goal from there, where he had more of a gap to aim at. Tries to go near post. Doesn't really work. Right, Port Vale are away against Weymouth. And Weymouth are down in 16th place. So that looks like a game that you kind of would expect Port Vale to win. Boston's still drawing at home to South Shields, but then we're still drawing at home to Sutton, so it doesn't really count for anything if we're not going to take advantage of Boston dropping points, which up until this point is exactly what we have been doing. Mark Sheffield looking to cross, doesn't beat the first man, and it's left us in a little bit of trouble, although we've won the ball back through Dorset, and Robinson plays it forward, trying to... Quinn's a little bit slow to turn there, and once again... Sutton with the counter-attack, and we need to get a challenge in here. They shoot from range. They've scouted our keeper. They know the route to goal against Bourne is just hit it towards the goal from miles out, and just before half-time, Boston have gone ahead in their game as well. So it becomes even more important that we sort our lives out in this second half, because as it stands, we're dropping points, which was not the goal of doing this as a double-header episode and coming back a little bit earlier. We were supposed to be still in the title hunt, and Quinn's got it in the back of the net, but it's disallowed. It was, I think it's a foul on the keeper, probably. It's come up there as offside, but it looked like the keeper kind of spilled it. Okay, so he is offside, but I think there's probably also a foul on the... Oh, no, the keeper's just awful. That's interesting. I mean, we're already playing wing play. I was going to say, let's get the ball out wide, get some crosses in. He can't cope with them. That's already how we're playing, and it doesn't seem to be getting us anywhere. We do have a corner now, though. It's Bradshaw. Nobody challenging for it. It goes back to Bradshaw, who tries again, and this time Bond is in, and Bond, you would expect to do a little bit better there. I didn't realise Sutton had Billy Brown in their team, former Bourne player. I assume it's the same Billy Brown. How many Billy Browns are there going to be in the world? Let's face it, he must be ours. Right, what are we going to do to win this game? I want to get Sheedy on, because Sheedy has been great recently. We're going to get Gleeson on in midfield as well. It seems a bit odd putting a tough tackling midfielder in, but it allows us to push Broadbent a little bit further forward. And then we're going to bring Sheedy on for Bond, because Sheedy has been playing very well. So let's get him on the pitch. Let's get him in there in a position to score some goals. Let's also push our wingers further forward. Sati can now play as an out-and-out winger. That's something he's learnt to do recently. So now we really are pushing forward and going for it. Get creative. Sutton have a corner. If they score here, I'm gutted. This is my gutted face, in case you're wondering. This is what I look like when I'm gutted. Because I'm now thinking, what's the point of showing you the next 3 matches? We've only gone and ruined it. Now, demand more. This is a game we should win. We have a free kick on the edge of the area. Sheedy to take. Can he make himself a hero? Once again, it's a good free kick, but an equally good save. We do get a corner out of it, though, and hopefully that can lead to something. Bradshaw with the corner, and again, no Bourne shirts to get on the end of the corner. We have got another substitution to use. They're both defenders, though, so I don't know what kind of difference they're going to make. We'll bring Dootson on for Dorset, just because Dootson's our record signing, so bringing him on shows we mean business. There's some logic for you. It's now a free kick for Sutton. 7 minutes remaining, and they've scored again. That's getting disallowed. Surely that's getting disallowed. Linesman? No? It just feels like a goal that should have been disallowed. I don't know what for. It just had that feel about it. Well, we've messed this up properly, haven't we? Going into the final 3 games, 4 points off the top, and Boston still with a game in hand. We dropped down to 4th. Even that goal of trying... I can fault your performances. That's what I should have said. Even that goal of making sure we finish in the top 3 now in jeopardy. If we win the league from here, it'll be one of the great Football Manager stories. It's not looking likely, though, is it? Right, a couple of changes for the South Shields game then. We're going even more attacking. That's got to be the answer. And we've now got 3 players on attacking instructions in central midfield to go with our 2 attacking strikers as well. Broadbent is basically the defensive midfield on his own. We've also brought Dootson in for Bedwell, who's suspended. Cornell comes into central midfield as well for a rare start for him, mainly because his natural role is to play as that attacking central midfielder. He's very rarely got to do it, but he's supposed to be good at it, and he's got a good star rating. He's considered one of our best midfielders. He just doesn't really fit into the system we've been using. So now the system suits him. Let's get him in. He might be a hero. Right, South Shields have lost 3 of their last 5 games. I do expect us to pile on the misery for them today, because they've piled on enough misery for me in the past. They're hovering just above the relegation zone. They're not in any danger of going down, but it is interesting to see that I think that gives some nice context, that they were the team that we were always battling with on the way up, and now we're trying to go up again, and they're on their way down, hopefully. Or not hopefully, but they might be. We want to beat them. We're better than them, and we weren't before, so we've made progress. They haven't. No. That's what I'm trying to say. They hit a corner there that's come very close to troubling Anang in our goal, and troubling Anang troubles me. Bradshaw on the left-hand side with a free kick. This is our first proper opportunity. Free kick comes over. Dootson's there. It ends up in the back of the net. I don't know who from. It's an own goal in the end. It has been given, which is nice, because, again, it had a little bit of a feel of a disallowed goal about it. But we'll have a look at it from the other angle. I'm sure it was all fine. Bradshaw with the free kick. Dootson heads down. And whoever that is just there, Bond, will probably be thinking that's his goal, because it looked like it hit him just as much as it hit their defender. But either way, we're 1-0 up. We don't really care who scored it. Cross comes in again. Quinn's there, and it's just over. Looks like everybody has this whole seated area behind their goal that no one actually sits in, that we've got at our place as well. It's a weird little quirk of the non-league. Let's build some seats, even though we know nobody's going to sit in them. But it looks like we are hitting half-time, 1-0 up, which I guess is good. No one else is playing right now, so we can't really, or no one else important is playing right now. So it's difficult to compare whether it's even something we care about. As of right now, we are 2 points behind Boston again, but they still have a game in hand. And with only a couple of games left, that still looks like a fairly insurmountable lead. But who knows what can happen. If we win our final 3 games, there's always the chance that both Boston and Port Vale will bottle them. Lots of chaos in the area from this corner again. Unfortunately, it's fallen to Dorset, who's probably not the man to capitalise on the chaotic situation. And now South Shields looking to counter-attack. But Broadbent, he is the defensive midfield, and that's what he's going to do. He's just protecting the back 4 on his own. Ball forward. Bond can't win it in the air, which is weird, because he's a giant, and we know he's good in the air. But it's surprising how often the ball just sort of bounces back off of him. He's not quite the same player this year that he was last year, and I think we will take him off once again. Bring Sheedy on again, because I really like Sheedy. My concern with him is that he doesn't necessarily fit into the way we play, because I don't know that a false 9 in a 4-4-2 wing play system is great management. Cornell's not played well. Robinson can almost do that job as well anyway, so let's just bring Robinson on to do the exact same thing. Robinson has been far more of a regular starter and regular member of the squad than Cornell this year anyway. Bradshaw now, looking for options ahead of him, plays the ball over towards, I guess, aiming at Sati, who doesn't get there, but is applying a little bit of pressure to their fullback, and a little bit of a panicked clearance means hopefully we're going to get the ball back. Sheedy, you can see just how deep he drops in that false 9 role, almost playing as an attacking midfielder, which might be an advantage, actually. It becomes almost like a 4-2-3-1, which I guess isn't a disastrous thing. Broadbent's done well again there, playing in that defensive midfield role. Sati beats his man, tries to beat another man, crosses to Quinn. Quinn is fouled. To be fair, I think Sati was probably fouled as well. South Shields were getting a little bit rough there, and it's Sheedy to step up and take the penalty to hopefully put us 2-0 up. Sheedy scores. I think, is that double figures for goals? Oh, in fact, well over double figures. You can tell I wasn't really concentrating when I was recording the podcast. 13 goals this season now for Mark Sheedy. He must be getting close to Bond's total from far fewer games. At some point, we've got to just go with Sheedy, and I've been saying that for several episodes now. Bradshaw with the header, and that's 3-0, and that's now, we're comfortable now with 20 minutes to go. 3-0 up. Bradshaw gets his 5th goal of the season, and we're playing well. If only we could have played this well in that last game. And it's such a frustration being the Bourne manager, because I'll forever blame it on the fact we're part-time and everyone we're competing with is full-time. So sometimes we're just going to get tired quicker. Although in this example, South Shields, to be fair, probably are part-time as well. which is why they're tiring as well. But all these other teams up and around us are going to be full-time teams. Most of them have been in the Football League within the last 3 or 4 years, if not at least the last 10 years. There's only us and Dulwich Hamlet from that entire group who are on their way up. Everyone else is like fallen, I wouldn't say giants, but I remember Port Vale being in the Championship, I think, or the equivalent. It might have still been called the First Division at the time because it was so long ago. I remember Gillingham being up at that level. I certainly remember Orient as a League One team. Boston, I've seen in League One, I'm sure. Northampton in League One. Dagenham, even Dagenham spent some time in League One, didn't they? And they're all the way down here. Hartlepool as a League One team. There's a lot of teams. Aldershot, at least as a League Two side. There's a lot of teams that you would expect to be better than us. Sati getting injured at this stage is not ideal. We are 4-0 up now, so we're not going to fiddle around too much tactically. But Sati has been a very important player. So if that's a significant injury, did I not do that team talk myself? Oh, Kev. Okay, looks like my assistant did a good job. I'm so eager to see what's happened to Sati, though. I wasn't really concentrating. Sati has pulled ankle ligaments, which means he's going to miss those last couple of games that we're going to get in tomorrow's video against Brackley and Morecambe, which is not ideal. Broadbent is a little jaded. He's just going to have to cope, I think. I don't really want to be sending... We made that mistake of sending a player on holiday. I think we can send him on a week's holiday because then he'll be back for the next game. He's going to get a week's rest anyway, but just for the sake of tricking the game into thinking he's having a holiday, let's send him for a week. There you go. 1 to 3 weeks holiday is needed. He can have 1 week's holiday because then he'll be back in time for that next game, which will be in the next episode. And hopefully we're going to see... Oh, it's Boston. It's Port Vale against Boston. We've got to just see how that turns out. This is going to have huge implications. I didn't even know that was coming. We are praying for a draw here because we don't. It's no good either of them winning at this stage. But if they can cancel each other out, we are right back in this. Right, there's all sorts of other stuff going on that we don't need to worry about. So Broadbent's back on the 16th. That should mean that he's back. Yeah, so he's going to be back ready for the Brackley game. That is good because we're going to need him. I don't care about any of this other stuff. I just want to see what happens in this game between Boston and Port Vale. That is all that matters right now. Oh, we've got a new youth intake. There you go. If you're a channel member on the name in the game level, you perhaps want Luis Feliciano. Let me know down in the comments. Rather than me posting it on the community page, we'll do it this way. See who's watching. Obviously, it is only open to name in the game channel members, so I will check that before allocating. But if you want him or any of the others, let me know, and I'll get those names changed over before it won't be before the next episode because spoilers. I'm recording that right now, but it'll be before the transfer special season review thing. Right? Are we getting this? When are we getting this Boston and Port Vale game? When is it? Is it Tuesday night? I thought it was the next day it was happening. I didn't realise I was going to have to press continue this many times, or I might have done some magic time travel via editing. Bradshaw now also needs a rest. Well, he should have asked me a little bit earlier. He can't have a rest now. We'll just give him some time off of training, even though he doesn't really train a lot anyway. So he can have 4 days off training if that's what he needs to. Because that'll he'll be back for the Brackley game then. And even if he's not training, I think if they're just resting from training, you can still play them. It's only if they're officially on holiday that they can't be used in the team. Right, this should be the matches. So Port Vale versus Boston. We'd want the draw. A draw would be perfect. And it is a 3-0 win for Boston. Boston have won the league. There's no coming back from that. That was their game in hand. They're 5 points clear of us with 2 games left. We ain't coming back, are we? Well, we can cross our fingers and hope, I guess, going into tomorrow's episode. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.